Folks, once again on managing your cholesterol. As we discussed in the previous video, number of areas talking about cholesterol, the truth behind cholesterol, oxidation, the rancidity of cholesterol. Is it just about cholesterol, or do we really have to understand that cholesterol is a natural God-given compound that our body actually makes and plays a vital role in managing and making hormones for the body, protecting cell membranes, converting sunlight in the skin with cholecalciferol and making vitamin D, or cholesterol to make cholecalciferol. So we have a number of areas that I think that we must deal with and understand. On the flip side, is it just about eating a diet that's high in cholesterol, or is it really about eating a very poor standard American diet? Very minimal vegetables, very minimal fibers in vegetable, very minimal plant sterols and stanols in vegetables, very little in the way of colors in fruits and vegetables. That's really what it is. And too many chemicals, I believe, plays a key role in interfering with how our body processes and handles cholesterol. Stress plays a key role in cholesterol management. Poor thyroid function can play a key role in rising levels of cholesterol. We know that high stress, high cortisol output interferes with how our body uses certain of the B vitamins, pantothenic acid being one. High cortisol, high stress output can interfere with how our body manages cholesterol, plus what theoretically I believe, if you look at the physiology and the chemistry of cholesterol, cholesterol is a precursor to steroid hormones known as DHEA and cortisol. It's an upline precursor to those hormones, hormones of distress. What are the hormones of stress that we make? Well, we make adrenaline, noradrenaline, etc., but we also make cortisol in response to stress. Where does it come from? Pregnenolone. Where does it come from? Cholesterol. So understand that stress, if you're under a lot of stress, that can certainly interfere with your cholesterol management and managing your cholesterol naturally. The next area I'd like to talk about is a sedentary lifestyle. A lack of physical activity certainly encourages cholesterol to rise. You're not processing, you're not handling, you're not in a stimulatory phase. Activity and physical exercise, without question, has a balancing effect on your hormones, can help with mood disorders and depression, helps you to detoxify, the list goes on. But it also can help you to manage more naturally your cholesterol levels as well as your triglyceride levels. Let's look at the role between men and women. Women typically have lower cholesterol than men, same age grouping, up until they reach menopause. Postmenopausally, as they go through menopause, their numbers seem to jump and escalate fairly rapidly. I believe that might be tied to this whole precursor hormone concept, cholesterol being a precursor to your hormones. As a woman's hormones drop, is it possible that there's a compensatory mechanism for the liver to make more cholesterol to try to make more hormones? As a feedback mechanism, because of her cholesterol levels, her hormone levels dropping, the body commensurately causes a rise in cholesterol. I believe that's very plausible. I don't know that there's a ton of scientific evidence to back that up, but when you understand the body, the physical characteristics, the biochemistry, you can see how you could easily draw some very valid conclusions in this area. What about, I mentioned in the first video, C-reactive protein being an issue, encouraging inflammation on the artery walls, being a progenitor for heart disease, elevated homocysteine, elevated lipoprotein A, elevated fibrinogen, heavy metals, mercury in particular. There are a lot of other factors, stress, etc., that we've talked about. So what are some of the natural approaches? I believe buffered C ascorbates can play a key role here. A nutrient like perfect E and not your standard synthetic forms of E, because E and C can synergize, donate electrons back and forth to one another, keep those two antioxidants circulating, and keep the cholesterol from oxidizing and going bad. We use a prep called omega-3 800s that can help not only your cholesterol, certainly your triglycerides, but be protective to the vascular wall and the vascular beds. What foods, what foodstuffs can improve your cholesterol levels? Well, we know factually that higher fiber diets and beta-glucans that are derived from soluble fibers. One of my favorites to recommend to folks is steel-cut oats. Very fibrous, unprocessed, unmilled, loaded with a lot of surface area regarding fiber, but also the beta-glucans that are associated with oats, especially steel-cut oats, and then also the portion of the glucan that comes from these soluble fibers that naturally sequester cholesterol and help you to eliminate your cholesterol through stool, etc. The other area is understanding that there are a couple of other forms of foodstuffs. Number one, vegetables in general. If you want to lower your cholesterol naturally, consume more vegetables. Non-starchy vegetables. Now that could be anything from string beans to greens to kale to spinach to broccoli to cauliflower to peppers. More of the sterolins and stanols that are in vegetables will help you to process your cholesterol more naturally. Beans, legumes, chickpeas, all are very critical compounds in helping to lower your cholesterol naturally. We know that foodstuffs that contain soy, I know that rings in many ears for a lot of folks, a lot of problems or potential problems. I believe that the whole soy controversy is very much ado about nothing. I don't believe that you should consume soy 10 times a day, but I think that soy is shown to actually literally help men and women with something called insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. It's shown to help lower the blood pressure, and it can certainly lower cholesterol levels naturally using natural sources of non-genetically modified sources of soy. Almonds and walnuts can be two nuts that can have a huge impact on your LDL cholesterol, your triglycerides, and your HDLs. Good fats, monounsaturated fats, loaded with fiber, loaded with minerals, a great way to naturally lower your cholesterol. You might say, well, wow, they're high in fat. They're good fats. They'll not harm you. They're protective. Your body needs the good fats. Tomatoes can be helpful in this area as well. And actually, there's some literature pieces talking about tomato juice. I'm not real sure if it has to be tomato juice or just tomatoes, but we know that tomatoes can be helpful. But plants in general, reducing the amount of trans fats, deep fried fats that you consume in your diet can be helpful. Brands. Do I believe that you should take supplement forms of rice brands and so on? I don't know that that's necessary. I would look to get as much of this as you can in unprocessed types of rice, unprocessed, non-instant forms of oatmeal such as steel-cut oats or Irish oats, having a salad at least at lunch and at dinner, throw in multiple types of vegetables, throw in some sliced up red peppers, green peppers, radishes, throw in multiple sources of vegetables, consume chickpeas, put chickpeas into those salads. You play a huge role. Look for ways to get more naturally occurring sources of fiber. Folks, one of the ways to lower cholesterol is not just as we see through medications, but one of the ways is through what you do through lifestyle, through physical activity and exercise, and what you consume, and not necessarily low cholesterol foods. I believe processing the standard American diet with a lot of processed types of fats, processed foods, white and refined products is really more the issue than it is cholesterol in foods. Folks, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being with us. Stay tuned for the next teaching video. God bless you.